Hello everyone, and welcome back to Dynasty Warriors 7. Last time, I played a fair bit of Conquest mode, and by a fair bit I mean like a couple stages, if that, in Chaos mode. And my roommate Nathan and I have cleared out quite a bit of the map. We've captured all of the provinces, and the final battle is down here. The battle for supremacy, where all the forces will gather to see what it means to be a true warrior of the Three Kingdoms. What answer awaits us at the end of the fight? So, I'm going to be doing that today. At first on normal difficulty, and we'll see how hard mode feels after I attempt on normal difficulty, because as far as I'm aware, this is the hardest mission in the game. I don't expect to survive on normal mode, let alone hard, so we'll see how it goes.
One must always ready for a hunt. Don't show any signs of weakness to the enemy. We must always be prepared for battle.
Alright, let's get to it. So you might notice our weapons have changed since last time. This time I have an icicle on a stick, which does freeze enemies and has two block breaking combos we can use. That's one of them right there. And the other one is a sort of uppercut where we spin the enemy in the air with our spear and then slam him into the ground. Our other weapon is a flail, where Santa is the flail, because of course it is. But I am grateful to have these overpowered weapons for this final confrontation, at least. I have been playing a fair bit of Warriors lately. A fair bit of Dynasty Warriors 7, a fair bit of Dynasty Warriors Advance. Just Warriors games all across the board, really. And I've obtained some small measure of skill in Dynasty Warriors 7 since last I played, but even so, a lot of that was through co-op. And playing in single player is quite a different beast from playing in co-op. Single player is far more difficult. If you can make it this far in single player, you're okay at the game. But this is something else. This many red dots to take down is something else. Granted, because this is Dynasty Warriors, we could always just head straight to the boss characters and fight them, instead of contend with every single red dot on the map. But I want to fight every single red dot on the map. As it is, I think we might make it through normal mode just fine as long as we're careful. Gotta be wary of archers and juggling as always, because that's the thing that'll get you most in Dynasty Warriors, is juggles and archers. That does change quite a bit in Dynasty Warriors 7. This is actually kind of, like, I don't want to lie, this is genuinely kind of frightening, the situation. Because not only are the enemy officers so much more aggressive this late into the game, but even the normal enemies you're surrounded by are no joke anymore. It seems that everyone's fleeing, though, or maybe they just... Like, I'm not... Oh, yeah, everyone is fleeing. Huh. So if we defeat the chief officer, like Xiahou... Excuse me, it's... Excuse me, you pronounce it Cao, not Cao. It's a bit difficult to say. But it appears if we defeat the chief enemy officer, the rest run, which is not what I was expecting, so I'll have to keep that in mind. Because I don't want the enemy officers to run, I want to fight all of them. This song that we're hearing right now, it plays throughout a majority of the game. It's just always going, and it's a very nice song. I love hearing it. It's incredibly bombastic and energizing, and the first time you hear it, it really gets you pumped for battle. I still like hearing it, but obviously the effect has diminished a bit after hearing it so many times. That does call to mind how little people factor desensitization, how little they factor being desensitized into the decisions they make. Like, when people are experiencing something shiny and new that feels good, they often tend to think that it will just always feel good. They tend to be bad at accounting for long-term emotional states. or thinking of how their future self might perceive their present activities, or how their present activities might affect their future self's prospects. I try not to make decisions based on mood for that reason. I try to do a bit of cost-benefit analysis in my head before I make any major decisions. Even if the major decision is just deciding what I'm going to do with my day. And those decisions actually have become easier because of my time spent playing video games, because video games, especially challenge-focused ones, incentivize thinking strategically about your actions, about how your input leads to the ideal output, and if your input doesn't lead to the ideal output, it teaches you how that was your fault, and you have to think about it in a new light. You can't really hide from responsibility in challenge-focused games. You have to take responsibility for your actions. It's a big part of why I find them so appealing, is that they champion player agency and are teaching tools. They have several edifying qualities. Challenge-focused games are why I think so critically in so many ways. And a lot of people may not consider Dynasty Warriors 7 to be a challenge-focused video game. It all depends how you play it. The perception of Dynasty Warriors as mindless is largely untrue if you play on normal, hard, or any higher difficulties, really. It really seems like people who think Dynasty Warriors is mindless just weren't engaging with the game mechanics, really. And that begs the question of, oh, hold on, it's time to fight Liu Bei. We'll have to hold off critical analysis standards and journalistic integrity talks for a bit. You know, every time I play a Dynasty Warriors game, I always go straight to Wei, and I always go straight to Xiahou Dun. I don't really mess about with any of the other kingdoms, except as they're integral to the Wei storyline. So this flail, it has I think 2 block breaking attacks. It has this one right here, where we can pull enemies toward us. It's a bit of a ranged attack, and it has this one right here. Those are both block breaking moves, and the flail has a chance to electrocute enemies, which briefly stuns them, which is immensely beneficial, as you might imagine. There's a mechanic in this game that I didn't know was present, where if you jump down onto enemy forces from a high ledge, they actually react in shock, like they fall over and have difficulty orienting themselves as you assault them. I just thought that was pretty neat. Like, personally. I wouldn't have expected that. I don't know how it's calculated either. It just feels very dynamic to be able to enact plays like that. Hello, everyone.
You appear to be a competent fighter. However, I will not be easily defeated. We must retreat. This is not the end.
Don't worry, buddy. I know that it might have seemed like you were easily defeated, and thus I made a liar out of you. But I promise, even you caused me anxiety. But overcoming that anxiety with a cold steel heart and pushing forward to obtain victory is the key. There are tigers running around right now. You might notice I am excessively using my Muso meter. Like, I'm just using special moves left and right. And that's because not only are there more than enough normal foot soldiers to destroy to make up for the Muso, to replenish it, I mean. But it is much better safe than sorry. You are safe from harm while you're using a Muso. So using it as frequently as possible is what's on the agenda. It really makes things easier to be able to squeeze in a Muso right as you open someone to attack. Oh no! Oh. Oh god, that was terrifying. I heard him use his midair Muso, and that probably would have been it for us. There's a very distinct sound when a Muso is occurring, and if you didn't press the Muso button and you hear that sound, you're in trouble. You gotta counter Muso immediately. The enemy density is way cranked up in this final battle. I'm trying not to lose sight of the enemy officer, but it's rough. Like that. Very good reason this is the final battle. Everything is more intense. There's more power-ups, there's more officers, there's more everything. Thankfully, I have a ×2 defense on, so those arrows weren't hurting me nearly as much as they could have been. I'm sure hard mode will be possible. Might take a bit, though. I didn't mean to use that early. He stopped blocking during the final hit, though, for whatever reason, so it still worked in our favor. See, being able to freeze enemies is of immense benefit. No matter how much they're blocking, they can't block while they're frozen. Alright, just 2 more guys left. I think we've more than got this. It was a little stressful, but not as bad as I was imagining. I do love this outfit on Xiahou Dun, by the way. It's just a traditional knight outfit. I'm a big fan of knights, especially knights with capes. Can't get enough of paladins. I love this weapon switch move. It's so ridiculous. I think this is a good weapon combo, like, really good. I'm glad I switched it up. Experimenting is important. It's too easy to get stuck in familiarity and not try new things. That's also something that challenge-focused video games encourages, trying new strategies. Hey, I'm over here. I think that's it. Unless Nobunaga Oda is going to come here from Samurai Warriors. I think that's everyone. Oh, nope, the Jin are here. I guess I really should have seen that coming, shouldn't I? It would have been far too easy, and that wasn't even all the characters. I'll be there in a minute. My horse only goes so fast. I could use Musabar to expend... I could expend some of my Musabar is what I meant to say, to move faster, but I'd rather save that, I think. Don't want to be getting greedy now. Of course, if I do play hard mode after this, then everything I was initially worried about is going to seem silly in comparison to how difficult hard mode will be. I'll just reach such a new height that that my old self that played normal mode will seem unrecognizable. I think Raving Beast is an accurate description of what it looks like we're doing, but what we're actually doing is quite different from mindlessly raging about the battlefield stomping on things. There's quite a bit of thought going into this, even though it might not look like it to you, sir. I definitely think hard mode is going to be much harder, but it'll probably still be doable with careful usage of Muso. Just understanding the openings is probably the most important thing. Ooh. Ooh, wow, that was a good one. Oh, man. We're getting smunched. We're getting smashed. Understanding when the enemy is open is probably just the most important factor. When it's possible to assault them, and when is the best time to use your Muso to ensure optimal damage and optimal defense. Believe me, I'm not trying to show off. That is not the intention here. Alright, this attack up is doing a lot of work for us. Oh, Did you say I'm barely standing? I think I'm standing pretty well. Like, the tides could turn and everything, but... I feel like I'm doing pretty well for myself. I would really like to finish everyone else off first before you. I think I got everyone. Alright, Lubu, let's go.
I respect your courage for coming this far alone. However, you still are going to die.
I'm not worried about it, Lubu. I'm ready. Come get me. My unearned confidence will only be more satisfying to defeat, I'm sure. This way. Lubu. Lubu. Lubu, I'm right here. Come on. I'm just down here. Come on. Come on. I guess we'll take the long way around. See, the thing about convenience, I think, is that it's only really of value insofar that it encourages comfort, stability, and security. If we have an excess of convenience that's not helping us feel comforted or secure or stable, then what we're doing is creating complacency. And that complacency is anathema to effort, to change. And I think that's why mankind's obsession with convenience will ultimately be their undoing.
Did you enjoy yourself? Come and suffer the consequences. Your time is up.
Everyone says we need to suffer the consequences of enjoying ourselves. Which, like, is romantically appropriate, since what we've been doing is slaughtering everyone wantonly. But I'm not sure that's what they meant. Nice try, Lubu. You almost had me. That was a good Muso.
Another victim has fallen before me.
Do I get the horse now? Do I get the really cool red horse? With the glowing eyes? Oh, I do get the cool horse with the glowing red eyes, actually. I didn't expect that. I'm going to equip them, I think. And then we're going to head back in, of course, and try out hard mode. The coolest horse. Could be purple, though. Might appreciate it more if it was purple. Gotta save because this game doesn't auto-save. And then we'll try hard.
We must focus now on regrouping and maintaining our ranks.
My horse is on fire now,
For the attack.
so I feel much more confident.
Ready for a hunt. Don't show any signs of weakness to the enemy. We must always be prepared for battle.
Probably the most frightening thing about
Allow me to show you how a battle is supposed to
this taking them on in hard mode will be the
beat me by yourself.
will be how well the archers will be able to plink at our health. Because they were some threat, but not a great threat before. But on hard mode, they're a huge deal. And everyone seems to be using their Musa moves a lot more frequently now. I mean, I've only seen it happen once, granted, but it took a while for anyone to use Muso previously, and now the first enemy is using Muso.
I see you. You're finished. Another victim has fallen before me.
It is definitely frightening when any enemy uses a Muso move.
We have the advantage.
But thankfully, I do have that hair trigger reaction. So I know to trigger mine in response immediately. And again, the power-ups are doing a lot of work for us.
I give up. I will pull back from that.
Oh, hello. We're getting a bit smacked from in the rear. It is actually genuinely hard to see the enemy officers amongst the sea of other enemies sometimes. Let's see if we can't fix that. Yeah, this is proving to be quite a fair bit more difficult. As expected. In addition to the enemies being more aggressive in the sense that they're attacking more frequently and more viciously, they also seem to be pursuing me more viciously. More than ever, I think the Raging Beast comment is unnecessary. Especially, you know, I'm currently losing. That was pretty thrilling. I don't feel great about our prospects, but having every enemy officer assault me at once like that was actually pretty exciting.
Your actions on the battlefield have gone unpunished for far too long.
Everyone's talking about the weight of our sins. About how we can't just run around smashing everyone in the face all day. Sometimes we have to take responsibility. We have to be a real thinking person. This is our comeuppance. We want to make sure that our Muso outlasts the enemies. So even though you might want to press it immediately, and sometimes you have no choice but to do that, it's more beneficial to wait till they finish their one-liner first. Because after their one-liner is when they'll actually use the thing. I'm playing too much Dynasty Warriors 9. I was ready to Why did I want to say scour? I was ready to scale the building using a grappling hook, but that is not a feature in Dynasty Warriors 7. There's a non-zero likelihood that I will fall before the Dragon of Xiahou. I know it was kind of impossible to hear the one-liners from the characters, but Liu Bei said my time is now, and Xiahou Dun said my time is up, and they overlapped each other, which is kind of romantically fitting. Nope, I'm getting as far away from that as possible. Where are you at? You know, maybe everyone's right about us. Maybe our actions have gone unpunished for too long, because everyone's here talking about a greater future and how they have all these ideals for the betterment of mankind, and we're just smashing people. We're just running up to people, beating them in the face with a Santa Claus flail. Like, we're a real mockery of everything that they hold dear. It's understandable they'd be mad. Alright, everyone, come get me. Look, I know that one person can't decide a battle, but I don't really have any backup. What am I supposed to do? Not fight this ridiculous battle just because I don't have any backup? Trying very hard to keep my eyes glued on the screen for anyone who might try an assault from behind. Our health ain't doing so hot. If we fail this mission, I'm probably going to try to run straight to the enemy captains, the chief officers. You know, Cao and. Ooh. I'm just gonna run to the glowing green fellows and take them on and see if that produces better results. Well, yeah, Xiahou Dun. I don't think anyone can disagree that your might is unmatched. I don't think that was ever contested. You wouldn't be here fighting everyone alone if your might wasn't unmatched. Jumping out of the group of enemies immediately after defeating an officer has become essential. We're losing a lot of health, and I'm not even sure where to. As plans go, planning to destroy the enemy is one of the better ones. Okay, we barely made it out of there alive. I've got to find some health. I'm sure there's health around here somewhere. There usually is around the bases. But that's rough. Yeah, I'm going to be looking for health for a minute. So far, I've succeeded in finding a very, very pitiful amount of health. I haven't seen any, like, urns around, which is unusual. Usually those are hanging around the bases. But I guess beggars can't be choosers. Alright, so the plan here is just to charge straight through with the horse and head to the enemy camp. That's what we're going with. If we can avoid everyone and make it successfully to the enemy camp, which shouldn't be too hard, then we'll just unleash when we get there. Hi, Cao Cao. Alright, I can do this. I can do this. He's almost down. We are so in trouble right now. Okay. Thank God it worked out. Everybody buzz off. Everybody buzz off. I already defeated your captain. Leave me alone. Okay, now we have this entire area to search for health ups. So we will get on that. Well, I have successfully found nothing. So we're just gonna hope this works out, basically. And we're especially gonna hope that none of the archers shoot us. It might seem like a bad thing when we smack weapons into each other and draw like that. But a draw is actually beneficial because it leaves them open to a Muso. Alright, now everyone will flee. And all we'll have to do is take on Lu Bu, which is not a small order. But we did get a tiny bit of health back. I'm not sure that health will be of any use when we fight Lu Bu, but it's something. So I'm not sure if Hardman was more or less difficult than I expected, honestly. Like, for one thing, we did have to resort to a secondary tactic of desperately charging in and spamming our Muso, which was incredibly tense. But we're still probably going to survive on the first go, unless Lu Bu takes us out. Which Lu Bu taking us out is not out of the question. But we're going to play as carefully as I can manage. It appears that as carefully as I can manage was successful. We've reached the pinnacle of might. Alright, that was fun. That's the most difficult battle in Conquest mode in Dynasty Warriors 7 Extreme Legends Definitive Edition. I had a very good time. I think that's enough Dynasty Warriors 7 for quite a while. Probably going to move on to other stuff now.